Okay, so get this. Today's deep dive, we're going headfirst into AI.
Head first, love it.
But, and here's the twist, we're not talking about robots taking over the world, the usual stuff.
Right, right.
We're going deeper beyond the code to understand the mind of someone who's actually shaping the future of AI and doing it responsibly, which is a big deal.
And the really cool part is we're using their LinkedIn profile to do it. Andres Garcia Camino.
LinkedIn, huh? So, like, what everyone sees, but we're digging for gold.
Exactly. It's public. It's like a window into how someone at the forefront of AI thinks.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So, Andres Garcia Camino, what's the headline?
PhD in AI, for starters.
Oh.
But it's his current title, research professor candidate, that got me.
Asterisk. Is that allowed?
Exactly. It's like he's adding his own flair. Hints at a less conventional path, which, by the way, he's been at the same research institute for over 20 years, so he's serious about this.
Wow, 20 years. That's commitment. What is it, like the MIT of AI?
The Artificial Intelligence Research Institute, IIACSE officially, but yeah, one of the top places. And get this, his headline is a mouthful. Researcher, regulated learning, technical AI governance, simulation, operationalization, combinatorial metagame theory.
He put all that on LinkedIn. This guy must be a riot at parties.
Right, but seriously, even without knowing what all that means, it's clear. Governance, ethics. He's thinking about how AI impacts the world, not just the tech itself.
Not just building a faster AI, but a better one kind of thing.
Precisely. Sure, we can build amazing AI, but let's make sure it benefits society. And the way he combines computer science with, get this, cognitive science, law, economics, even politics.
Whoa, whoa, this isn't just some programmer in a basement, is it?
Not at all. This is someone thinking about the big picture. AI is going to touch every part of our lives. He gets that.
Okay, so some of those terms he used. Regulated learning. Sounds like a sci-fi movie waiting to happen.
It does have a ring to it,
Is it?
but it's crucial, really. Imagine AI that doesn't just learn blindly from data, but learns within rules, constraints.
Like it has to be ethical. It can't just go off the rails.
Exactly, a moral compass in the code itself.
Okay, so that's regulated learning. What about technical AI governance? Is that more of the same?
Kind of. It's about building safeguards into AI systems right from the start, not just hoping for the best later.
So baking ethics into the design process from day one.
Precisely.
All right, now for the real head scratcher, combinatorial metagame theory. You're going to have to break that one down for me.
Imagine trying to predict not just how one AI might behave, but how entire systems of AI might interact and evolve all at once. That's essentially what we're talking about here.
So, like predicting the butterfly effect, but for AI.
It uses game theory to understand all those complex interactions between different AIs and what might happen. It gets very complex very quickly.
Makes you realize how little most of us know about this stuff. And speaking of knowing little, I was struck by the services offered part of his profile. Why is a research professor offering things like application development, cybersecurity?
Shows he's not just an ivory tower thinker. He's got real-world experience. He wants to see how this stuff works in practice.
So 1 foot in the lab, 1 foot in the real world, bridging the gap kind of thing.
Exactly. He's not just talking the talk, he's walking the walk, making sure theory translates into solutions that actually work.
It's refreshing to see that.
Oh,
Okay, but
yeah.
there was this one line that really threw me. I got to ask you about it. He's got this blurb, and he just casually drops NP equals P with enough information. I got to be honest, that went right over my head.
Yeah, that's a bit of a bombshell. I mean, if you know, you know.
Right, like I dabble in this stuff enough to know that's a big deal, but explaining it?
Okay, so imagine, like, you have a lock, right?
Uh-huh.
You got to find the right key. NP problems, they're like searching for that one key among millions, could take forever.
Okay, I'm with you.
Now, Andres is saying, what if we knew enough about that lock, about all the keys? Could we make finding the right one way faster? That's the gist, oversimplifying, of course.
So more information equals solving even the hardest problems. That's what he's getting at.
He's suggesting it. It's a huge claim, but that's what makes it interesting. If NP equals P is true, it changes everything about how we think about what computers can do.
My brain hurts a little, but I like it. And then he hits us with AI equals governments. Is this guy for real?
He likes to be provocative, but there's something there, right? AI is making decisions about loans, healthcare, even criminal justice.
It's everywhere, that's for sure. But governments.
Think about the impact. As AI gets more advanced, it's not just automating tasks, it's shaping outcomes for entire societies. Andres might be saying we need to think about AI governance like we do political systems.
Wow, okay, now that's a deep dive. Speaking of which, let's talk about his actual writing. Decision-making modulo theories. That sounds like a title only he could come up with.
Right. But it's about AI making decisions with incomplete information. Like, in the real world, things aren't always black and white.
So AI that can handle nuance, the gray areas, the human stuff.
Exactly. And then there's institutional robotics. That's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah, that one sounds kind of scary, not gonna lie.
It does make you think. Robots in hospitals, schools, governments. But it's about how we design those systems, what roles they have, how they interact with us.
The ethical questions again. This guy is all about the ethics.
It's got to be front and center, especially with how fast this tech is moving. And that's where his work on natural language processing comes in NLP.
Right, let's get into that. We've talked big picture, but what's he actually doing in the research world?
Well, he's been pretty vocal about the limitations of current NLP tech, especially in fields like law and medicine.
High stakes stuff for sure.
He says we need a more balanced approach, combining these fancy new deep learning models with good old-fashioned rule-based AI.
So not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Gotta have some rules.
Exactly. We've got these powerful tools, but we need clear guidelines, especially when dealing with important decisions. And you see this focus on responsible AI throughout his work, whether it's data privacy, intellectual property, even something like text summarization. He's thinking about the consequences.
Even with something as simple as summarizing text.
He's always considering the ethical implications, no matter how small. He's urging the whole AI community to slow down, think about the long game, not just the cool new tech.
Accountability, it's all about accountability. Okay, I gotta circle back though. That unfinished master's in nanoscience and nanotechnology, what's the deal with that?
It is strange, isn't it? Deep into AI, then takes this detour into the world of atoms and molecules.
Yeah.
Maybe he's drawing inspiration from the brain itself for his AI work.
It's like he sees these connections nobody else does. That's fascinating. And maybe that's why he's so good at this whole AI thing. It's not just ones and zeros. He gets the bigger picture, the human side of it all.
Exactly, and that's what makes someone like Andre so important in this field. He's not just building the future, he's helping us figure out what that future should look like.
And it's not just us saying that. Remember that recommendation, Juan Antonio Rodriguez Aguilar calls him a visionary, creative, productive, inspiring.
A true leader, someone who's not afraid to challenge the way things are done, pushing for responsible AI, ethical development. That's huge.
It is. You know, it's funny. You start digging into someone's work, especially in AI, it's easy to get a little freaked out, you know? The robots, the jobs, all that.
It's easy to go down that rabbit hole, the dystopian future for sure.
Right, but then you come across someone like Andres really thinking about this stuff, the ethics, the impact. It gives you a little hope, doesn't it?
It does. It reminds you that the future isn't set in stone. We're writing it right now with the choices we make, the AI we build.
And that brings us to our big question, the one we want to leave you with today. If Andres Garcia Camino got to design the future of AI, what would it look like? How would it be different from what we're seeing now? Something to think about.
An AI that's not just intelligent, but wise, that's accountable, transparent, that understands us, helps us build a better world, not just a more efficient one.
That's a future I can get behind. And something tells me this isn't the last we'll hear from Andres. He's onto something big.
And when he makes his next move, we'll be here to break it down for you, right here on The Deep Dive.